Everything has changed, and it's changed so suddenly. You've already travelled the plains, several of you at least, inadvertently, that is. Some of you have deeper connections to the plains than others, whether it's through your parentage, whether it is in your very blood. But for many of you, it's simply a matter of bad circumstance. Well, that's how it was in the past, but not this time. This time, you're heading into the plains voluntarily. The dangers that are before you can't be underestimated, can't be understated. You plan to travel along unknown paths without anyone to assist you, to get to the depths of hell and rescue an archmage where a legion of angels have failed. It's a task that seems insurmountable, but it's one that you face headlong to get. It may very well be the most difficult thing any of you have ever undertaken. It's hard to imagine that it is, particularly when you are clueless. You know not how to get there, nor the customs of the land that you are traveling into. The last thing that you remember was a gate open back on Faerun, provided by Vandergahast, the former court wizard of Cormia, whom we trust has some influence over the destiny of Cormia. We trust that he has some protection over the uncrowned king, the hidden king. Cormia is not in our hands anymore, and the Dales will not be in our hands until we return with Elmas. For now we wander the plains, the infinite plain, without so much as a clue. Welcome to Sigil. You stand in perhaps the most bizarre location any of you have ever seen. The streets are wide, but they seem narrow because they are so packed with people. I don't know how many of you have been to a true metropolis before. Sigil, I suppose, is a metropolis, and Westgate too. These are large cities by anyone's measure within the Forgotten Realms, by measure of Sigil, of this city that you are in. Instead, the wide street is clogged to the brink with all manner of people and creature and product. It's a bizarre situation, and it's only made more confusing by the fact that your eyes are stinging and your lungs are hurting from the caustic smoke, which is everywhere. It's belching from forges and alchemy dens and campfires. But more bizarre than the devils and the angel, more bizarre than the three-headed dogs and the floating attendants that have hieroglyphs above their heads, is the geography, because the city curls in on itself like the inside of a magical ring. You sit within the center of this great tire. Off to one side, to your left-hand side, far down below, you can see an impossibly tall spire that disappears into the caustic steam and smog and smoke. but before you, the city rolls away and then rolls back, and you almost fall back as you look towards the sky, which folds in on itself and eventually comes back to meet the very place that you're standing. And no one else seems to be fazed by this, only you.
I don't know what I was expecting coming through that gate, but this was not...
Certainly was not this.
Where do we start? I suppose I'll go up to... Yeah, is there someone close by that I think might be approachable?
Sure, there's this huge fat creature that has giant ears and a massive appendage coming out of its face that you might call a trunk. In fact, it looks much like an elephant, but humanoid. He's wearing robes and he's got these green jewels hanging from him and a turban on his head. And he looks at you with his eyes as you get its attention.
Excuse me, but...
Hmm?
Can you tell us exactly where we are?
Oh, it looks like you're on top. Brondok's forges? Within the trade war? What are you looking for?
We're looking for a way to Avernus, the City of Damnation in particular. Do you know the way?
Excuse me. He says, gives you a bit of a look and then just pushes past you.
Alright then. Thank you, I guess. Anyone else on the street?
Plenty of people, so many people. There are elves and there are dwarves. There are wizards and roll a d16. But the people that stand out the most are the creatures that levitate above the ground. They look vaguely like, I suppose, mind flayers in that they have the same sort of similar dress and great, strange, bulbous heads as if their brains struggle to fit within their cranial sockets. And there's three of them, and they're talking to each other and talking to an old elf woman. But the words that they say are appearing above their heads rather than them saying them. It looks like they're creating these complex alludes, hieroglyphs. And they're currently communicating with this old elf woman. And, you don't see a lot of old elves back in Faerun. Virtually all of them packed up with the retreat and headed off to Evermeet, and those that didn't are probably dead. But this is an ancient elf, 1,000 years old if she... And there's quite a lot of half-elves around her of varying ages, quite young, quite old. And they seem to be really agitated with these figures that are making. Everyone else is just giving them space, going about their business. It's as cold and heartless a city as any you've ever been in. No one has time for anyone, it seems.
Well, what do you think, guys? I think we should try and find an inn, perhaps. We can find someone there who knows more.
Yeah, perhaps.
That's not a bad idea. Felix is kind of looking around. Is there anything that looks like food stalls?
Oh, absolutely. There's like rats on sticks and strange bats and lizards and human corpses roasting over fire.
Well, not the human corpses, but Felix is going to look for something that he has absolutely never seen before.
Okay, sure. It's some sort of roasting berry that is something like a figure of 8 in 3 dimensions. And it's dripping with a syrup that might be.
Yeah, I'll get one and try it.
All right, you bite into it, and its mild begins to burn away at your lips. It causes a point of damage and causes your lips to get caustic and ripped and red. Your stomach feels even.
This place is not going to be good. You can tell a lot about a place by its food. That's disgusting.
Let me have a try. I'll hold out my hand if he has any left.
Yeah, I'll pass it over to him.
Give it a bit of a nibble.
Yeah, we'll try it as well.
It seems to be some sort of fruit that, rather than having like a sort of citric acid that an orange or something might have, it's more of a sulfuric acid. And if you took oranges and ramped them up to 100, then they might be something like.
So,
oh, yeah.
Does acid resistance make any difference on that?
Yeah, if you're acid resistant, it's perfectly fine. It's like drinking a bitter, fizzy, sour drink. Like those. Did you ever try those old lemon warheads?
Yep.
Yeah, like an explosion of flavor and sourness and bitterness. But some people like it.
Oh, that's quite good.
Good. That's worse than that stupid invention I came across back in Aglaron. Some gnome was trying to sell salt and vinegar.
This
Then
argument.
we'll buy a couple.
No worries. They're fairly cheap. Probably about the equivalent of a silver piece. And for people like yourselves, with the amount of money that you've got, such denominations are hardly worth keeping track of. But this argument, yeah.
Oh, will they accept our silver?
They do actually, yeah. Like it's they look at it, they weigh it up, they drop it in a bucket that has some water in it, weighing it, and they can tell that the material is silver, and that's what matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Not a problem. And so this disagreement between the floating hieroglyphic entities and the old elf and the half elves is starting to escalate. The levitating folk they're just sort of communicating and standing there, and they've got these symbols going on in front on top of their heads. But the half elves are getting really, really agitated. And the old elf woman, she's practically, although she's sitting down cross-legged, she's practically, having a stroke. She's losing it here. But they're just doing their thing. They're not saying anything. They've just got their hieroglyphs going on, and yeah, the half elves are getting really agitated, like violently so.
Is it possible to listen in on what they're saying?
Yeah,
Maybe get
sure.
A bit closer and listen.
Sure,
I was
make
just going to ask the same thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
While they're making their checks, I was going to ask separately if it's possible for anyone to recognize the language these hieroglyphs are in, because you said their words are appearing above their.
Yeah, they are. It would be an insight check because it's not actually a language per se, rather a collection of images.
Pictographs.
Yeah, pictographs, that's right. Okay, so Arathir and Videk, they're mostly speaking in Elven, but they're interrupting it with Common, and they're clearly agitated. It seems that they're really angry that they're going to have to move. The old elf has lived here for generations. Apparently, these are her children, and, their children, and so on and so forth. There's more than a dozen of them, but way over that, much more. And yeah, they're agitated that these entities are trying to force this poverty-stricken woman to be evicted from this part of town. Meanwhile, Felix, you enter signs a little bit, and they seem to be insistent upon this, and that there is no other way.
I see.
Should we intervene? I mean, we don't know enough about this place. They could be in the right. Evicting them,
It's
but
probably best not to get involved.
We shouldn't get into the troubles of, especially with peasant problems.
If they're evicting them, and it's what it seems to be, they probably have the right or reason to do so.
that being said, they're probably the most normal thing we've seen here. They might be able to help us.
Maybe, but I've normally seen bad things befall those who would enter a forest without obeying the masters.
I'll go to the food vendor and ask him, who are those people talking to the elves? They're talking, or they're using some strange magic above their heads.
Alright. The food vendor is a goblin that has these little red wings coming out of his back and a pair of horns. And he says, "Oh, them! You don't want to mess with them! They're the Davis! They're the voice of the Lady of Pain! Don't ever get in their way!
Yeah.
Clueless, are you?"
I'm not clueless. I just don't know what they were. Who's this lady?
You're not clueless? Then what's your ward?
Say again?
You're clueless enough. Don't mess with the Davis. They're the mouthpiece of the Lady of Pain. You bring her down here in our heads, why, I'll rip you to shreds myself.
Who is this Lady of Pain?
You really are clueless, aren't you? Lady of Pain. And she's the master of this city, of this Sigil. She's in charge around here. She's like, well, she keeps the gods out.
She keeps the gods out.
You a holy man?
Somewhat, yes.
Yeah, well, if you're a holy man, you watch yourself while you're out here in the plains. The rules ain't quite the same out here. Things a little bit different, you know? Rule number 1, stay away from the Lady of Pain. And that means stay away from the Davis. You got it?
Right, I think I've got it. Thank you for your time. I want to explore this thing he said about the gods. So I'm just gonna go to the party. Excuse me for a moment, and I'll duck around the corner and I'll say a short prayer, and I'm going to ask for Shondakul to guide the way to the City of Damnation.
Oh. It points down towards the spire.
Well, I wouldn't know about the spire, right?
You'd be able to see it from here, even with the fog and the smog. You get glimpses. It's down on your left-hand side. We're sitting on the, inside of a ring, and that ring is on the top of a spire. The spire doesn't touch the ring; it kind of levitates above it. And there on your left-hand side, through the smog and the smoke, and behind the building, you can see this massive mountain tip, like a spear, coming towards you, and the path points towards it.
Okay. I'll sort of murmur to myself, but that doesn't help at all. I thank Sean DeCool nonetheless and go back to the party. Well, I'm at a loss. Apparently the spire has something to do with getting to the City of Damnation, but I don't know how to get there.
We should probably, as mentioned before, try and find an inn or something of this. Give us a place to work from. So we're going to need to gather some information.
Conflict between the half-elves and the Davis is beginning to escalate, and as they, draw their rusty knives and their clubs and threaten these Davis, an assembly of warriors, 5 of them in pinkish purple armor, but plate. It's big, heavy armor. It just has a kind of strange color scheme. These pinkish purple heavy-armed warriors come out, and they just start laying into these elves, just crushing them. Bam, 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 bam. Harmony shall be restored within this city. And they're screeching and screaming, and the old woman is picked up and dragged off through the.
That was unexpected. A little harsh, don't you think, for evicting someone?
I do not like this place.
Well, let's just treat this place as if we were in hostile territory. I think we need to
You think?
be careful of who we speak to and try to find the City of Damnation as quickly as possible.
Felix notices that the hieroglyphs above the Davis's head, they change. They're no longer, communicating with the elf, and they're communicating with each other. And they're having visions of different buildings and architectural styles and street lays, and they come to a sort of agreement, and they agree on a kind of clock tower. And then they set to work without actually ever touching anything, just levitating it and waving their hands around by magic, I guess. The entire structure begins to disassemble and twist and turn and reform, and it's not instant, it's slow, but you can, if you want, you can stand here all day as they rip this building apart and restructure it at a molecular level.
So it looks like they evicted the elves so they could rebuild the building into something else.
Yeah.
This place is incredibly strange.
Am I seeing that correctly? Are they just building something out of nothing?
It's quite impressive.
We really need to find out more about this place. Let's go look for an inn.
Roll a d16, Felix. Alright. What does an inn look like in a location like this? How can you tell what one building is from any other? What are you looking for? Any icons? Anything particular? Or just looking for the word INN?
Oh, that's a good question, and Felix has absolutely no idea.
What do inns look like? Whether there are people there, what do people look like?
A slat with some slat hanging out front, maybe like a pictograph,
Yeah,
something somewhat universal,
yeah. All right,
like a tankard or
beautiful.
usually
Easy.
there are some things that are almost universal or standard. A bed, a tankard.
So shrewd.
I'm just gonna take your word for this. I've not exactly been through that many cities.
So you go past the place that has the swinging anvil on its sign, and the place with the swinging boot on its sign, and the swinging dagger on its sign, and you're looking for like a bed or a cup or a knife and a fork or something. And what you spot is a Xantarum sigil. It's unmistaken. And there it is, floating, swinging. It's relatively new, only been painted, probably within the last year, maybe within the last couple of months. And it appears to be a drinking hole, a tavern and inn, a location for people to meet and to stay and to obtain sustenance. Only it's currently occupied. The doors are closed, and the windows have stained glass. The decorations of Bane are prominent. There is security at the front door, just a pair of Centarum warriors that might as well be in Vunlar or the Moonsea. They look pretty uncomfortable, but not as uncomfortable as you.
Vidic is actually probably going to feel far more comfortable with something familiar. But on the other hand, you've got to be kidding me.
They truly are an all-pervasive organization, aren't they?
But they don't know who we are, so I mean, it shouldn't be no problem.
Oh, they probably know who Vidic is.
I think this is something familiar to us. We might find some answers in there, but it's the Zentarum, Vidic. Are you sure we should be heading in?
Perhaps you could disguise yourself.
It's worth a shot, and he will, yes, use disguise self on himself.
Are we sure this is a good idea?
It's the only lead
No,
we've
but
gotten so far
at the
about.
very least, we can, if nothing else, because we're looking to get to one of the hells, right? Where devils are from.
Yeah, that's right, Avernus, the first layer
Yeah.
of Fatal.
If nothing else, the finding a route to one of the hells, the Zentarum may have a lead. It's actually maybe a way to find a possible lead.
It's
Right.
possible, yes, but our entire purpose for coming is to find this wizard that you say can help defeat the Zentarum.
Yes, this and figuring out what they are doing here may also help us. while we are here.
That's right. We
That's a
should
valid
see.
point.
We should see what they're doing here at the very least. It could be the reason why they've had such success in the prime material plane.
It may be something that we don't have to concern ourselves with, and we can just go about their business and ignore it. However, if it can lead to information that can prove useful to us, it may be worth a little bit of our time.
And aside from Videk, I don't think they're looking for any of us. Are they? I turn to Oren in particular.
Haven't had any problems with this Zentarum. In fact, when we last heard from the Whispers, weren't they allying with some Thayans from Dagger Falls?
Well, as a Thayan yourself, you might have some recourse with them. Just let Videk inspect this place. We'll be there to back you up, but let's not put our foot in our mouths. Don't let loose anything about what's happening back home.
And so Videk will disguise self on himself to just appear human.
Does this place have like a stable or anything around it?
No stable, no. There wouldn't be enough room, and most people don't have mounts in this city anyway.
I'm gonna polymorph Alfonso into a cat and then pick him up and just hold him in my arms like a house cat.
He feels a little bit humiliated, but the prudence wins over. Alright. So you enter, do you enter this building? Does everyone go in?
Yeah, I'll follow Videk. Yeah.
You enter the Wrath of Bane. The Zentarum soldiers, they assess you. They seem uncomfortable that you've got your weapons and armor just brandished, but so does everyone else in this city. So while they're not used to that, they deal with it. They note the contingent of your party. It doesn't seem particularly exceptional, you know. But neither do you appear entirely out of place either. At least not to them, not to their untrained eyes. And so you enter a drinking hole whose decor is best described as black, red, and fiery. There are long, ornate, dark tables and blackened stone. The fireplace has been repurposed to being an altar, dedicated, of course, to Bane. And the bar is stocked with many different varieties of alcohol and different snacks and the like, but most of them haven't yet been opened or unpacked. The place appears only recently refurbished. But none of this really is that interesting. It wouldn't draw your eyes, because your eyes are no doubt dominated by the pit fiend that is currently engaged in negotiation. It dwells in a kind of a bath of fire. Yeah, I guess a bath of fire is the best way to describe it. A series of coals that are currently flaming. And from there, it negotiates with a group of individuals that some of you might recognize because you've killed them.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Do you remember Arazu, thrice converted?
Yes.
So there is a there is a purple robed wizard here with his hood pulled back, and his manticore pet is curled up beside him, sort of purring. He is on one side of a table, negotiating, I suppose, with this pit fiend that is in a pit of fire or on the other side of the table and beyond it. And there is a third party as well, the bishop, the one that was that was not quite hunted down, that Captain Val tried to execute, but she escaped. So anyway, these individuals
The one that Vidak made friends with.
So these individuals from the Moonsea, from the Zental Keep, are here. One of them is dead, or he should be dead. We killed him. Another one escaped because of our intervention, and the third is not from the Forgotten Realms at all, but rather from the depths of a pit fiend who, quite logically, seems to have the upper hand in this negotiation. There is also a couple of other patrons wearing armor, swords, spear, most of them dressed in the Zantarum, and finally a barkeep. The barkeep looks like a centaur, but has the curling horns of a ram, and a fairly furry.
You cut out furry.
Face, like a beard, but big mutton.
Right. So he's a Hellboy.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he's a massive mutton chops all the way down the side of his. Everyone, as you went, the wizard and the bishop, they break concentration and they watch you, but no look of recognition falls across their face. The manticore continues to sleep.
I'm a little fear-struck, I guess, at the moment. Like, what the fuck? Pit fiend here? I mean, how did he get through the door?
I'm assuming it looks like he was summoned here.
I guess we know where the pit fiend is from now. Those notes back on the Duke of Whispers ship. Right. I sort of hush up and look around, make sure no one heard.
Make a perception. No.
And Vidak is just going to try and play it cool and go over to the bar.
Or goes
Alright.
up to the bar and talks to the barkeep. It says, a round for my friends, and but none for me.
You don't drink, my friend.
No.
Is it religious?
I don't drink or eat.
Oh, you don't. You're dead, are you? Petitioner.
No, I'm not dead. I'm quite alive, like you.
Oh,
You could say I'm ascended.
congratulations. But you're an ascended man, but not a religious man. How unusual.
Yes, a round of your finest ale for my friends. How much gold would that be?
Oh, well, we've got ale from all over the plains, my friend. Oh, would you like some of Maraden's finest from the halls of the Dwarven Heavens?
Ah, yes, that sounds fine.
Yes, you look like people of distinguished tastes here. And, although it costs 10 gold, he serves up 5 or 6 mugs of this thick brown ale with a rich white head. That is, for those of you who dare to drink from a Zentara mug, it is one of the most refreshing and hearty and strongest bitters that you've ever indulged.
I wave everyone else over and say, come on, have a drink, calm your nerves, boysies.
I'll sort of reluctantly go over and take a drink, keeping my eye on the pit fiend.
Yeah, I'll grab a drink as well, since he said it was Dwarven God's Ale or something. Sounds fancy. Be disappointing to waste, especially if someone else is paying.
There are a handful of other customers in here, as mentioned. Like most of them have the Zentarum sigils. It looks like a place that they feel comfortable in. It would be an exaggeration to say that they're entirely comfortable with the presence of that great big pit fiend over there, even though they're on the same side. There's an awesome and intense fear. The fear that I suppose at any moment a sacrifice could be necessary. But you've got the place fairly to yourselves. There's a lot of space, and that means that you're able to sort of choose a booth that gives you some level of privacy. The place appears to be quite clean. It doesn't seem like they've had a lot of customs. And the cat keeps a good job of keeping away any rats or other vermin that might get in here.
I'm going to try and see if I can listen in on the conversation.
Yeah, sure. Make a perception. You get snatches of the conversation. You get the word the Dales and Elminster, Archeron, Karamakos. But you don't pick up much more than snippets.
Yeah, well, you wanted to come in here. I hope you have a plan for what comes next.
Well, someone in here
Just
must
gonna
have
keep-
some information.
Just going to keep listening for a little while.
All right. So you guys, yeah.
I'm going to ask the bartender if he has any room.
Any rooms? Absolutely. Not a problem at all. A gold piece each should be fine. You'll find that the sheets are clean and fresh, only recently purchased.
How big are the rooms?
They're not big, I'm afraid. More like coffins than rooms, really. No, space is of a premium in this city.
Speaking of this city, how might one go about getting to the Outlands, or the Spire itself?
Oh. I see. Where are you from, son?
Me? I am from nowhere in particular, I travel around.
No. You must have worked out that there's multiple worlds by now. What world are you from? What's the name of your world or your the biggest kingdom?
Oh,
Toro.
Toril.
You're from the Sword Coast.
Oh, around there, yeah. I think I've heard of the Sword Coast. Yeah, I'm more from the east, I guess.
Oh, that makes sense then. You recognize the Zentarum sigil, and you found something that seemed like home, so you
Oh.
thought you'd try.
Is that what that symbol is? Oh, I knew it looked familiar.
Aye, make a deception.
Jesus, this is the best.
Aye. That she be. Well, welcome home, friend. Anyway, welcome. And he looks over at the corner where the pit fiend negotiation going on. He says, "As you can see, things might not be exactly the way you remember back home. You're in the plains now, but you can consider the Wrath of Bane to be a little bit of familiarity for you to draw upon. The rooms will be much smaller than you're used to, but much cleaner as well, I'll wager. A gold piece a night, and you'll find friends here. I know you're looking for a way to get to the Outland. It's no small task, you see. You can't just grab yourself a magic ring and jump off the edge of the earth and hope to fall down. Nay. This is a cage you're in. This city, it's a cage. But it's also the city of doors. It'll keep you trapped, but there's a way out. In fact, there's a way everywhere. This is the craziest place you'll ever be. And why, you look over there, he points towards the fireplace, where the altar is. If you go through there, carrying the right key, why, it'll take you straight to the plain of Archer. A wicked land where warriors clash for all. But if you go upstairs, avoid the green door, and whatever you do, don't carry a pigeon if you're going past that door, because you'll end up in the plain of water, and you'll likely drown.
Are you quite mad? You're not making any sense at all.
Fucking clueless. Look, Sigil is the city doors. You know what a magic portal is? This place is full of them.
Yes, of course. Yes,
well, every door, every archway, every box, every window, every puddle. It could be a door. Why, all you'd have to do is walk backwards, touching your nose through the wrong place, and you can end up in the depths of the abyss. That's what it's like around here, so be careful. You're best off going naked, but to be honest, being naked's a key as well sometimes. So be very careful.
Are you quite serious?
I'm quite serious. I recommend that you take everything you've got, stash it in your room. You'll find safes in your room. We have a reputation to establish here. We're a new business. We want to get a reputation for a trustworthy location that people, particularly from Toro, can feel at home. So find your quarters upstairs. Make what little space you can. Don't pull your stuff in there. And don't walk around with anything so much as a rusty dagger or a crystal ball or a broken fucking mirror or anything like that. Pulling a face or saying a word in Dwarven backwards.
Right.
You never know what's gonna do it. You just be careful. And if someone goes missing, then just kiss them goodbye. Just don't chase them. Just say, well, they're off on a new adventure now. So you just gotta accept that when it happens.
I think I understand. You said you're trying to be a trustworthy organization. I mean, I've seen some strange things since I've been here, but I've never seen one of those. And I sort of thumb over towards the pit fiend, trying to conceal where I'm pointing, but it doesn't seem very trustworthy to me, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't. why Vangaroth's got more honor in his little horns than all of you do in the depths of your hearts. Why, there's never once been a pit fiend in all of existence that ever lied. They're creatures of boundless honor, duty, loyalty. And you'd be well advised to remember that. Not just in here, but throughout the plane. Things are different out here. You've got to learn to show some respect for different points of view.
I suppose what you say has some merit. I'll take it to heart. Well, you also called me clueless. What does that mean? That's the second time someone's called me that since I've been here.
Oh, well, it means that you're not a cut. It means that you don't know your way around, that you don't know a thing about how things function out here. Here, we got the primes, that's people. I also call them the clueless. The primes are from the prime material planes. They're like little worlds like your own, places that think they're all very important, but really they're just a fly's fart in the grand scheme of the universe. And you got the planers, people like myself. We're born into things the way they are. I'm from East. Yes, Grand Land. If you've ever heard of Valhalla, no. But I'm from around there. And people get born out there and live and die, just the same as they do on the prime materials. But mostly it's filled with petition, and that's the next set of. The petitioners are like dead folk. They died in service to their gods, and they're trying to move up the scales of things, like the divine bureaucracy, I suppose. You'll end up a petitioner too one day, no doubt. That is, if you don't end up damned or worse. And then you got the proxy. Proxies are like vassals for some greater power.
Like
Vangaroth over here, he's a proxy for Bane. When Bane wants something done, he's someone he can trust, someone who will get the job done. Bane, well, he's a power. Aye, and I think you know what they are. You call them gods where you're from, no doubt. Well, I call them gods. There are people out here who don't see gods as gods, just see them as bigger fish in a smaller pond. So there you got your primes like you, your planers like me, the petitioners who are dead trying to move up the scale, the proxies who do all the hard lifting, and the powers set the rules everywhere. Well, except around here, of course, because we got the lady up. But that's another story entirely.
Well, yes, I heard about that. The gods cannot come here?
Nope. They can't. And even old Vangaroth over there, he's heavily restricted on what he's welcome to treat and to trade and to be a part of the great city of Sigil, but he can't, mess things up. He kind of overstep the boundaries.
But surely the gods have... The gods have some measure of power, don't they? I managed to contact my god earlier, and he answered in a form, so they're not completely powerless.
That's right, they're not completely powerless, they just can't enter. You see, you're in the realm of the gods. They can walk around out here. It's not like back home, where they only fall to earth once every 1,000 years. No, out here it's a daily event. You can walk into the pearly gates and ride up to the throne of your god and say hello. Pick their pockets, if you like. But not here in Sigil. They're not allowed in here. The Lady of Pain, she forbids it. I don't know how she manages to keep them out and keep them under control. Well, why, she's the lady.
I see. I think I'm beginning to understand. Thank you, good man. What was your name again?
I'm...
You cut out. I'm... I see, Ox. Well, thank you for the time, and I look to the party. I suppose we should take the rooms while they're on offer. We don't know how long we're going to be here.
May as well.
Very well then. Room's enough for me and my friends then, if you have it.
We certainly do. And I trust that you'll enjoy your stay here. We will provide food. You find familiar smoked bats and lizards and barbecue, rather than the exotic fare that you'll find. Great.
Yes, I think we'll partake of some dinner while we're here. One last question. As I said, we're looking to get to the Outlands, and you've told me that every door here is a potential portal, as I understand it. Is there someone who is knowledgeable in such things that might be able to tell us more about how to get to the Outlands? A guide, perhaps?
What you need is a tout. A tout's a guide. Now, it'll get you around the city of doors. I'll get you through the cage with some measure of safety. They tend to know what they're talking. I was a tout myself. That's how I met up with the Zen. But that's another story. I think I can hook you up. You just rest yourselves up, eat some of this black smoked cheese, and kick back with some of the heavenly ale. And you let the Zentarum take.
Right. Of course. I give him a weak smile. Well, Ox here has done us a service. He looks like he's knowledgeable in the ways around here. I suppose we'll sit and wait for our guide while we eat some dinner.
It's not a bad idea. Just to quickly check, are Asteria and Brotor with the party? The players aren't here today, but the characters did come to Sigil with us.
I believe so, yeah. I don't think we would have gone through the portal without Asteria.
Yeah, I think she came. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, I mean, I know that Christina said that Asteria came with us. I'm just asking if, for the sake of what they can do, are they with us right now? Because I'm thinking that because Asteria has Magnificent Mansion, and I don't trust the Zents one bit to be actually sleeping in separate rooms in a tavern like this with them. So I'm asking if Asteria is with us.
You can draw on her power. Yeah.
Yeah, she said to NPC her today since she had the thing with her mom.
Unless anyone has a better suggestion, I'm going to say we just get 2 or 3 rooms as a decoy, and then have Asteria cast Magnificent Mansion, and then we'll go in there for the rest.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so before that happens, and during with our you've been trying to, several of you have been trying to listen into what's going on in the conversation, because the pit fiend grows increasingly agitated. It's probably the wizard's. He's being a bit disrespectful, I guess, and the pit fiend's not having any part of it, and he, in an effort to intimidate this wizard into compliance, pit fiend is. So it's not hard to hear what was said. They're discussing the invasion of the Dales. They are talking about the fact that all strike immediately. It would be premature, mostly not because they wouldn't win, according to this discussion, but rather because they can't predict the fall. If once they've rolled the die, anything could happen. With Netherall on the rise, they could interfere. Trade routes between Waterdeep and the Dales could be permanently cut by the Badine and other factors. Their control over the Moonsea is not as complete as maybe what you've been led to according to this discussion. Whatever the points, they're not worried about losing the battle. They're worried about what happens. So that's why they want to wait a bit longer. Well, that's why the Pit Fiend is instructed. They will be waiting longer. One of the reasons why is because his general, Cornugon, a spiked called Karamaeos, to be there, leading one of the armies. But Karamaeos engaged in a battle, a massive battle in the Valley of Rust in Archeron, a plane of eternal war. So until he defeats the demons of Orcus in Archeron, Karamaeos will be unavailable. But the victory is inevitable. Demons are always defeated, and devils have better strategy. So when Karamaeos has defeated the legions of Orcus in Archeron, they'll be able to. He'll be at their disposal, and he'll be able to assist in the invasion. The other thing, of course, is Elminster. And with Elminster currently imprisoned in Avernus, there's never been a better spot. But given that to rescue him was a complete failure, it is unlikely that an aid anytime soon. But just in case, he will be moved, in the foreseeable. Can't leave him in the living labyrinth forever.
Okay.
Finally, one more thing. The Pit Fiend is angered by something that's going on east of Anarok. Apparently he has forces in a place called Hellgate Keep, lies on the other side of Anarok from the Dales. And he's angered because the elves of have the ones who bred themselves demons all those years ago have risen have been freed from their ancient prisons and have stormed Hellgate Keep, and it does look like Lock and the Tenari will have a key victory in Faerun over the Beitizu. The blood war is so vast that it extends even to the Primitive, and he is really at losing this key territory that they've held for 1,000 to the Tenari and their allies, the Elves of House Blood.
Just quickly, Arctic. You're breaking in and out a lot today. Are you
really
uploading? Yeah, are you uploading something at the moment, or?
Oh, maybe I am.
Background, maybe?
Yeah,
is that better?
Terrible.
Fuck! I'm glad you pulled me up on it.
Sounds a bit better now. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, all right.
I guess time will.
Can you repeat that last sentence? The elves of
House de la Drageth and their Tenari allies.
My house.
I thought that's what he said.
Yeah, that was a lot better that time.
Yeah, there was a program running I wasn't aware of.
I mean, I thought it was me for the longest time because I'm downloading something in the background. But I'm glad some other people said something, because then I was like, yeah, it must be on your end. You can't really act on any of that information. It's good to know, but do we want to just wait for this guide, or does anyone have anything they want to do in the meantime?
Well, this place does seem pretty dangerous. It'd be bad, to say the least, if someone prematurely disappeared on us.
All right. So you wait for you wait for a while in this half familiar area, and eventually a Weasley looking creature walks through the door, wearing a ratty poncho, and sorry.
One thing I need to mention is before an hour runs out, Videk is going to step out and refresh the spell.
The illusion spell?
Yep.
Yeah, no worries.
Just wanted to make sure that was
Okay,
mentioned.
So this figure walks in his ratty poncho. He has wizened skin and tattoos on his head. A greasy beard and goat feet on the bottom of his legs. He looks around through his narrow eyes and sees you. He comes over to your table, trots over, his little hooves slipping against the stone floor. "Welcome," he says. "Welcome to Sigil. I understand that you're in need of a tout."
Yes, we are. Are we to take it that you're a tout?
Aye, that's right. You can call me, Rot. Call me Rot. Yes. I am at your service, and I shall navigate you through the labyrinth that is the cage, and turn it into the City of Doors.
I see, and your fee for all of this?
My fee shall be very modest indeed. Perhaps I would accompany you for no more than a meal, if you will allow me to feed off your scraps. Then I shall take you where you need to.
A mere what? Just a mere
Meal.
meal.
A meal.
Ah,
Feed me, and I'm yours.
is food really that hard to come by here?
No, and nor a touts.
Orn
do
You know
need
how
for-
to... Sorry, go ahead.
Orn will wave over a barmaid and I'd say, please get another plate for this, or this gentleman right here. Whatever he wants to eat, I'll cover it.
They oblige. I thank you. Thank you very much. And he eats with his fingers, delicately but grubbily at the same time, wiping his grimy hands on his poncho and oiling his beard with sauce. So, what have you thought about Sigil so far? What are your first impressions?
Strange. Very strange.
He picks up an eyeball, a fish's eyeball, and swallows it whole. So, you're looking for something? You need to get somewhere? Or you just want to orientate yourself with this place?
We're looking to get to the Outlands, specifically Baitor.
Oh, well. I may be able to help, or at least I think I know someone who can help you anyway. Yes. Well, when you're ready, come with me, and I'll see if I can't introduce you to the right people.
Do I feel like he's got some ulterior motive, or he's got something else planned for us? I don't know. He seems to be very not trustworthy. I don't know what.
Absolutely, make an insight check.
I think shady as fuck is the word you're looking for.
Natural 20.
Yeah, he is going to take you on a wild goose chase.
Listen, we're quite content to walk the streets and explore ourselves. You said there were more touts. Where might one find more touts?
Well, if you've got copper in your pocket, all you need to give it is you hand out some jink to any old scrapper, and they're likely to show you the way around this city. There's more than a few. But when you've decided that you want to get where you're going, you'll need to understand the rules of the cage. And that's where I come in.
I sort of lean into Videk and I whisper in his ear, I think this one's not really that trustworthy, but we don't really know enough about this place. Perhaps we can follow him? What do you think?
So Videk will lean into the. So, do you actually know what we need to know? If you do, and he will pull out an absolutely massive emerald and just flash it for a moment, and then quick put it back in his pouch. There's more than that for you.
Jink. Jink is good. But what you really need is destiny. And what you really need is an understanding of the way things work. But jink is good.
But if you screw with us, if you waste our time, if you run us around, or lead us into a trap, you die first. Understand?
You can keep your jink. You're welcome to find your way around Sigil all by yourself. What about you, friend? He says to Oren. You've already paid for my meal. Would you like me to be your guide?
Orin kind of glances up at Erithir and Videk and everyone else, and then back to Rod. If my companions think we should find someone else, I think then we'll go with someone else. In fact, I didn't really even think about it, but especially a guide that only his fee is a meal, can't be that reputable.
He bows. And he gets up and pushes the chair back in. And he nods at each of you and says, when you are done losing yourself in the cage, remember that I know how to open the City of Dawn. And he nods. trots out. Tick, 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 tick. His little hoofs are echoing off the stone floor.
Did it seem like he was being intentionally cryptic just to try and bring us back to him if something bad happened?
Sure.
Now, was this the guy that Ox was supposed to be bringing to us?
Yeah, that was him. Oh, you didn't like him? Sorry about that. He's an unusual fellow. Do you have many tieflings where you come from?
A few.
I've had dealings with them before. Not. He thinks back to the storyteller.
He knows the rules. That one. He knows the rules.
What we need is someone to show us the way. Where to go.
There's a lot of doors out there, he says. With a bit of luck, you'll find your way.
I sort of grumble, and I go out the door and see if he's still visible.
He's
Look, how do we find this place should we get lost? I go to the bartender.
well, we're in the trades ward, he says. So come here. Just look for the old beholder. There's a crumbling statue of a petrified beholder, 2 lanes down. Most people know the old beholder. It's a bit of a meeting spot of sorts. From there, you should be able to find your way here if you've got half a mind to.
All right then. What do you say we go out on the town and have a look around ourselves?
Sounds like a plan.
Perhaps we'll find our own tout on the way.
All right, Cam, have you got a character yet?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've been sitting here the entire time just like reading through Bloodhunter, but yeah, I'm good now.
All right. So you've been in this bar this whole time then. Let's have a look. Let's examine your character for a moment. First of all, what are you?
I'm a gnome. What do you mean, what am I? You racist? What the fuck? I'm a gnome. I'm a gnomish blood hunter of the Order of Lycanthropy, from a place called the Dragon's Neck.
Awesome. So let's go all the way back to your to before you were born. What is life like in the Dragon's Neck?
It is it's pretty rural actually. Between Moran and a place called Trade Meat. There's not much can be said of this place, but as it grew in popularity as this mercantile established, or rather, place of trade, continued to grow. It became more dangerous. Pirates began to invade, and other such bandits and equally dangerous creatures also traverse.
All right, and so like civilization, did it fall, or was it under intense pressure, or what was the result?
Bolstered by adventurers coming from both Cormier and the Sword Coast and other such places, promised, of course, the loot of ruins, ancient and new. It was protected by such adventuring parties who thought it would be better to have a civilization in place rather than none.
Awesome. And so you were born into this world. What role did you find first as a child and then as a young adult?
My gnome, my Elliot Emmanuel Graves, as he is called, was a mere clockwork merchant. He, like his father, grew up fixing clocks for the civilization of Moran, of which he grew up in, until he had become an adventurer when his father passed away, and he decided that he no longer wished to work the clock life.
Now, did you say Muran, like Murann?
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is like really quite interesting. I wonder if that random event will come up. But anyway, Muran had some serious problems, man. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Muran had some cataclysmic problems around about the year, I don't know, 1365 or something, which is about 8 or 10 years before our campaign began. A pair of ogre magi, came in from the east. Their names were Scythelus and Scythanthia. I can't remember, but anyway, there were a pair of these high ogres riding dinosaurs, like on Triceratops, I think they were, and with an army of monsters, they conquered Muran, and they took the Small Teeth, which is a small mountain chain, and they took the city of Muran and sacked it, and eventually drove everyone out of it and conquered it. Muran sits in the middle of the Sword Coast between Am and Tether, so two very important and large countries towards the south that have never really liked each other, but are very important to each other, kind of like Cormyr and Sembia have their complex relationship. And anyway, these ogre magi turned up with their army of ogres and goblins and everything else, and conquered the place. What role did you play in the battle for Muran and ultimately its loss?
I think I, as well, the rest of the order of as I had become an adventurer, I joined the order of those who would hunt witches, who would hunt magic users, who would abuse their power and authority over the rest of the people in Faerun for no good. However, when these ogre magi came into power, we realized we couldn't win. My character in particular, my gnome, how smart he was, he decided to fight for the ogre magi instead.
Oh wow!
Rather than fall to their onslaught.
Right. So, what were some of your experiences being in? Now, these ogre magi, they brought with them an Eastern sensibility. Think of them as a shogun and his, sorceress. They were honorable conquerors, but they were brutes, much like Genghis Khan, I suppose. How did you fit into this bizarre society that they sought to build? Because Scythelus and his wife Scythanthia, they genuinely wanted to build an empire. They called it the Scythelesian Empire, and it was meant to grow. It still exists today, and it is meant to prosper and conquer more and more territory. Humans have too much land. It's time for everyone else to have their share.
We were used as, or rather, the Order of Lycanthropes were used as enforcers, samurai, even. That's what we ended up becoming. Against our best wishes, our ability to fight magic users and any mundane user of the sword was abused by these two, I believe. So we were enforcers more than anything else, rather than those who enforce just justice. We did whatever they said.
All right. Are you still loyal to the Scythelesian Empire?
No, that's why I guess I'm here in Sigil.
All right. So What drove you to mutiny or abandonment? Yeah, what's the word? Desertion.
I think they tried to, when everybody kind of realized that, when the Order realized that they were no longer doing what they had sworn to do in the beginning, which was to truly fight evil and to fight those who would abuse their magical powers, they started to turn against the Ogre Magi, and Elliot Graves, the coward that he is, decided that this was a fight that he wasn't going to win. So he begged the woman that he was with, this powerful mage, to transport him anywhere other than where he was.
And it worked. But you didn't go to Sigil. You went to some awful, awful place. What was it like? What was it? The abyss or hell, pandemonium, the depths of space?
I do think it was hell. I think it was hell, yeah. It was one of the levels.
Awesome. So you were in the burning fires of hell. Devils tormenting damned souls for all eternity, whipping them and punishing them, condemning them for their sins. How did you adapt to this environment?
I befriended who I could, anyone that would take me. And of course, I worked for them like the worm that I am. But I'm okay with this because I am Graves, and that is what I do. And of course, I would adapt their language, Infernal, I guess. I took Infernal as a language. So surely I would eventually be able to understand them and to speak it fluently. And I would serve them as long as need be until I found an opportunity to escape.
All right. You were in indentured servitude as a kind of, a slave irregular or a prison guard against your will in a place called the Living Labyrinth. As deplorable an environment as any that can be imagined. For within this place, the walls are flesh and the rivers are acid, and the entire thing gradually digests that which is within it. And people who are sent there are sent to die. It's an excruciating death sentence as you are slowly digested by your own cell. Only the hardiest individuals can hope to survive. One such individual was a wizard from your own home realm, the only resident from Faerun that was within the Living Labyrinth, to your knowledge, one Elminster. Had you ever heard that name before?
I think in passing, I've heard of this mighty Elman.
What are your thoughts on his imprisonment? Did it interest you, concern you, amuse you?
I think maybe he didn't know much about that, but I think maybe from where he was, maybe he deserved it. Maybe he was put here for a reason. And my gnome, surely, curious as he is, would have tried to find it.
Well, while it was difficult because this prized prisoner was not easy to access, a great event occurred, an invasion from heaven. Angels waged war in hell. A strike force of a battle group was sent, and it was soundly defeated. It was during this event that you escaped. What was your what occurred? And anything, it could be anything in the plains, or what occurred that thrust you from this place into Sigil?
Is there anything in the plane?
You could eat an apple and wake up, in a different world. Anything could happen. You could.
So Ravenloft shit.
Yeah, sure.
So the mists began to pour through my jail cell where I was kept. I could hear the screams of people beyond, though I knew not what tormented them. And I saw before me the smallest of doors, only a door that a gnome could fit through. I reached out, and in my vision I touched this door. And as I touched this door, I was brought into it until I was melded with it. And then all of a sudden I was on the other side of it, in a new world, I guess, in this sigil.
Excellent. So you've been in this bizarre realm for a while, and while you're not as clueless as perhaps some people, you're still highly disorientated. You've picked up a lot of the conversation that the devil is having, and you're wily enough to notice that this new group is not only listening in, but some of them have fashions that you remember from your home world. Maybe the flash of a holy sigil, or just the way that their signet rings, or some other sort of thing that is familiar to you. It looks like this group is packing up. They've just refused the service of a dubious tout. You know your way around here a little bit. Maybe you could help them, or at least take advantage of them.
Oi! Oi, how are you? Oh
God, it is Grovel.
Felix will look around at head height, see who's yelling at.
Huh? Oi! Hey, down here, mate! Hey!
Orn will look at the gnome and say, we don't have any money for you, beggar.
I'm not bugging! What was this? No, I'm not bugging, no. Alright, look, I heard you're looking for someone. You want to know the right way around? I got you. Name's Graves. I'm the best tout around. I know my way around. I could help you. Come on now.
I'm not sure if this is worse or better than the last tout.
Oh, you mean worse? Hey, look, no, hold on, what? Where are you from? Tell me where you're from.
You wouldn't know it.
Oh, you sure?
Aglarond.
Yeah, you're all. I don't know what the fuck that is. What about you? I point towards
The Sword Coast.
Oh, so of course, eh? Where from?
Does it really matter?
Yeah, it does actually, that matters.
I don't think it matters.
He certainly seems like a tout to me.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a tout. Look, no. Hey, well, I'm from the Sword Coast too. Not practically. Alright, same place. I feel like we know each other already. Look, I'll show you. All you gotta do. All you gotta do is just take me with you.
Felix is just looking up at Arathir and Tim. And Vidic.
I mean, it'll save us some time looking around for another tout. And he doesn't want to eat everything, so...
So basically it's assorted. You're taking me with you, or I'm a tout, I'll show you around. Look, it's gonna be a good time in this, it's right.
Well, can you actually help us with what we're looking for?
What are you looking for?
A way to the Outlands.
Oh, the Outlands. Yeah. Arctic, what do I know about the Outlands?
It's going through doors in Sigil is dangerous. You don't know any way to get basically anywhere. You would yeah. So no, you can't really help them, but you can pretend you can, and you
All
can,
right.
you can sort of find out while pretending that you know.
Alright, so I know a place. Look, I know there's a lot of places here. And a lot of ways to get somewhere. I know one place. We go there. We'll get ourselves somewhere to get to the Outlands.
Alright then. How much?
What do you mean how much? Oh, I already told you. Or you sound kind of dumb. Or something. Look. You take me with you. It's free of charge. Mate.
Well, he's free. I suppose we can't expect all that much from him, but it's better than nothing right now.
Get what you pay for.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just an old saying. Never you mind.
Yeah, I'm sure. Alright, shut up and let's get going.
Alright, Oren, roll a d16. Okay, so when you go back out into the street, the demeanor of people seems to have changed. You can hear, I guess, a bugle blowing. And everyone, it seems everyone is pushing their way in one direction. It seems to have everyone's attention, and we're not shutting up shop or anything. People are still going about their business, but there's a real change in the tide, a real current. As it looks like a single event is drawing virtually every citizen that you can see, regardless of their race, creed, or religion.
You said you were a guard, right? So what's happening over there?
It's an execution. They're going to feed someone to the worm.
Yeah, they're gonna feed someone to the worm. Looks like someone's gonna die. You wanna go look?
Not particularly, no.
What in the hell's is the worm?
Well, it's a mortal beast. I don't know if you all seen it from where you're. It's bigger than anything you'd seen on that shore coast of yours. You want to go see it?
I wouldn't mind some entertainment.
That's what I'm talking about, mate. Let's go, come on. It'll take 5 minutes. Maybe 10.
Alright. You push through the crowd, and it takes a while to get there, but you finally arrive before what is, quite clearly a public spectacle. An individual, a man, is still wearing his ornate armor, beautiful full plate from head to toe, though he has no weapon and no helmet. Long, thick moustache, and well-kept hair that goes past his shoulders. And this man with his clear blue eyes is looking around, quite terrified, but he seems to be speaking with a clear conscience. While people jeer and they throw their tomatoes at him and they raise their fists and bring out the worm! Bring out the worm! And people are, shaking their banners, and different groups from different factions are there. Not that you'd understand the heraldry of the Mercy Killers or the Harmonium or the Godless, but there are people waving their different heraldries and organising themselves in different groups. And this individual is pleading. He's pleading to the crowd. He pleads to the Davis. He pleads directly to you. There's thousands of people watch on. He says, "But I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I saw demons and I destroyed them. How can you live among demons? They are unholy creatures, must be driven and destroyed." And everyone's like, "No, no," and they're like egging him, and it's quite a spectacle. Bring out the worm.
I suppose, out of curiosity, I'll watch on, see what happens.
Vidak is gonna walk away.
There's something wrong with this place. Felix is gonna follow Videk away.
Oh, yeah, wait, hold on, wait. Hold on, what? Where are you going? Come on, they're about to bring out the worm. It's the best part. You haven't seen a worm before.
Do you want a better
Is this-
view, gnome?
Yeah, I don't want no fucking better view, mate. Stay away from me.
I can put you on the shoulders of one of my servants. I can call them that.
What? I don't need a better view. Why don't you worry? Hey! What are you doing? Why are you walking away?
Is this a regular affair here?
Yeah! It's how justice is done here, mate. It's the best kind of justice. What's that?
It's disgusting. It seems like a perversion of justice, more than
Oh, why is that? You know what? Oh, I don't care. Look, I'm sure you, wherever you're from, the Agleron or something like that, and I'm sure it's done differently. Look, there's a lot of people here, as you can see. Just look around. A lot of people, a lot of different places. This is the best thing you can do. It's the middle ground. Death is death, right?
Not sure I agree, but... Look, can we get on with it, perhaps? I don't want to stick around here to watch this necessarily.
The wild,
Go ahead.
the cheering is wild and aggressive and loud and vibrant, and then it begins to die down, and it quietens really quickly, like a classroom, hushing, and then it's almost silent. Even the dogs stop barking. It's as if the pigeons themselves stand up and pay attention. And the whole crowd parts like a sea. And the Davis are floating in front of an entity. But she doesn't stand much taller than any other person. But there is a gracefulness and a power to the Lady of Pain as she makes her way towards this square. Her mask, this steel faceplate with blades like a mane encircling her face, completely devoid of any emotion or expression. She flies towards the convicted criminal. "Lord Agroth Bungar," comes the voice telepathically in everybody's heads. "You were arrested for smiting fiends in the streets of Sigil, and you were arrested twice again. After ignoring your previous 2 prison sentences, I sentence you to death. Release the worm." And she turns, and the crowd goes wild. It hits the roof. There is of celebration and anticipation, and clank, 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 the sound of some great gate winding its way open, and a growl, a deep growl, as if from within the structure, Sigil itself. As the Lady of Pain and her Davis depart. No! Wait! Fighting fiends is my sacred duty! I must destroy evil wherever I see it! Does anyone intervene in any way?
No, it's a little hard to watch, but
I'm gone.
I'm more focused on this Lady of Pain, I guess, now that she's arrived.
I told you. It's all equal, right? Oh, yeah, right.
All he did was do what he thought was right. And he said he was slaying fiends. I would too, given the chance.
Yeah. Well, sometimes what we know is right isn't actually right. You gotta think about it, you gotta look at it, you gotta understand it, then you gotta do it all over again. That's how it works. That guy, he's what you call a simpleton. You're not a simpleton.
I am not clueless anymore, I think.
That's right. Huh. Welcome.
This tremendous reptile begins slithering through the pit. Dark and green it is, almost black, but shining an iridescent emerald in the glare of light that is not actually a sun. This beast rises up before you. Its forelimbs not there, but it has a pair of bestial reptilian wings, and it's and four limbs, hind limbs with great bronze claws that scratch against the stone. Some would say it is not a worm at all. It is actually a wyvern. But such grammatically correct, clueless people would probably upset some of the locals who know this beast affectionately as the worm, and how they love the worm. They toss it copper coins, and they toss it razor vine flowers and scraps of coloured cloth, and they bow down before it. The Mercy Killers, a faction whose sigil is actually a wyvern, the worm. They are in particular reverence as this creature towers over its victim, looks down at it, sniffs it, and he struggles, rubbing against the chains. I did it for my God, he says. I did it for my sacred duty. The beast bites him, leaving his arms and legs flailing in the 4 chains for which they hang. And the crowd just cheers. It goes wild. A handful of people shake their heads in dismay and disgust. And a few people shed tears. But for the most part, this is a unifying moment on the streets of this diverse metropolis.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't bear this any longer. I'm leaving.
All right. Come on. Fun's over.
Orin does a golf clap and is quite impressed with the spectacle.
Where'd your friends go? What'd they weasel off?
They couldn't bear to watch it As I should have done.
Oh, come on now. Don't be a little softy.
Listen,
Vidic?
you...
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, go ahead.
Roll a d16, please, Vidic.
Yep.
All right. So, Vidic, you have disgusted by this scene, and you've departed the area. You've found a little alleyway that, for want of a better word, seems holy. There are a lot of people wearing white and gold and silver. There you can hear the sound of hymns being sung. There is there are temples here and other sort of structures that indicate a kind of celestial presence. Indeed, there are some genuine celestials in the area. They are trading just like any other place in Sigil. They're selling apples and wines and olive oils from holy plains. But for the most part, they're just playing the harp and singing. Do you feel at least a little bit more relaxed in this area? Does a place like this give you some sort of comfort after the bizarre violence that you just witnessed?
Very much so.
So what do you do here? Do you they have bars and they have stalls. They have pillow houses and all the things that you might expect to find in a city, but with an angelic theme.
And Videk will probably, I mean, honestly, will probably look to arm himself a little bit, buy a few like holy oils for things to like prepare for where they're planning on going.
All right. So one side of the road seems to be orientated more towards battle, and the other side more towards philosophy. And this is a broad and incorrect version, but there is a definite theme here. Scholastic pursuits on the left, martial pursuits on the right. So you're over in the martial area looking at their burning oils and their weapons and the like, and you're searching through a bazaar run by an organization called the Temple of Marduk. And they want to know if you've heard about the good word of Marduk.
I am unfamiliar.
Well, they say Marduk is a conqueror. There is a lot of evil in this world, and Marduk inscribes us to go forwards and destroy evil, and take from evil and convert to justice and good, to crush the skulls of the enemy, and to raise his children up to be civilized people in the ways of Marduk, the ways of light and of justice and of harmony. Can you agree with this philosophy?
And Videk just kind of nods.
Very good. Please, tell me how, or what part of conquest for what part of holy conquest and crusade appeals to you most?
I very much like the idea of correcting or making sure that. Sorry, trying to figure out how to word this.
Yeah, no worries. He is patient and wants you to gather your thoughts.
seeing that the proper people are in charge and that the next generation is raised by a moderate and skilled hand.
Ah, yes. Mentoring is very important. It is crucial that the apprentice learns from the master, and thus the old masters must be slain, so that their corrupting ideas do not infect young minds.
I agree.
Very good. Very good. And so, if you wish to buy things here, this goes for everyone. They have some high quality equipment here. And an angel wouldn't lie, would they? Flaming swords, arrows with feathers from Pegasi, threads of gold. Yeah. Oh, very impressive. Yeah, they harps, other sort of instruments.
But speaking of those arrows, I mean, if he has a couple, might restock a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing that I'm looking for is specifically if he has anything like a holy oil or something that can add like temporary radiant damage versus fiends
sure.
or something like that.
Yeah, okay. So like an oil of impact that does like an extra D8 damage, but if like poison, it only has one application. Is that what you mean?
Something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Like you can apply it to one weapon or like 3 pieces of ammo.
Do they have any arrows of slaying or weapons of slaying for fiend slaying, devil slaying?
They absolutely do. Yeah, absolutely do. Yeah, that oil of impact would be just 100 gold pieces an application. And the arrows of slaying, what exactly does a slaying weapon do?
An arrow of slaying is a magic weapon meant to slay a particular kind of creature. So these would be particularly, we want devil slaying arrows.
DC 17, 60, 10 damage.
Yeah.
Okay. A single, they'd come in groups of 20, so I'll work out the price of single ones. I've worked out 20. A group would normally be 32,000, so one arrow would be 1,500 gold piece.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend to Vidic that we bring everyone else along here when they're finished watching the blood sport, because particularly for Vidic and Arathir, it might be good for them to have 2 or 3 of these on hand.
He assures them that they are very good value. They have been used effectively in multiple assaults. But he seems to be a little bit, he doesn't want to talk about the ones where it didn't work. But
yeah. I'm just thinking, like, if we come up against like a pit fiend or something while rescuing Elminster, it'll be handy to have a couple of them on hand, because that's the kind of thing that'll be really tough for us, even at our level. So you said it was 1,500 gold for one?
Yeah, that's right. If you convert to Marduk, he'll decrease the price to 1,000.
I will purchase 2 arrows and 10 applications of the oil.
Excellent.
Just keep that in mind, even if we move on here, because Arathea said he wants some, but he's gone BRB. So I'll loan him some gold if he wants some.
Exactly. We can
handle that later. Yeah.
All right.
And you said the Oil of Impact did like an additional 1d.
Yeah, that's right. An extra D8, and it makes your weapon count as magical if that's important.
Okay, and that will only work against probably like fiends or undead. I'm assuming.
Yeah, call it fiends. Yeah.
Okay. Specifically fiends. Got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, undead as well. No, that's good too, because like that's what you're after—a kind of holy water grenade, kind of. Yeah, that's undead. It's cool too.
Hang on, did you just say they have holy hand grenades?
More like holy poison, I suppose.
It's the same thing. What the fuck?
But you could put it into a missile weapon. Yeah, you could have it as a vial that is lobbed. All right. So while you're searching through these stalls, as mentioned, across the other side of the road, things are much less martial and more scholastic. And it turns out that they're a kind of rival philosophy, a different god. It's the Temple of Athena and various angels that serve that particular deity. And while does anyone strike up a conversation with those stall owners or people selling books, literature, scrolls, anything like that?
I don't think so.
No worries. You notice that... Yep.
That certainly seems familiar to... Because that was who Jevrath was trying to resurrect, wasn't it?
It was, actually. I'd forgotten about that. But yeah, Jevrath would finally have gotten his Athena. If he'd only gotten this far in the campaign, he would have finally found the god that he'd been worshipping since level 1.
Athena is in Greek god of wisdom and warfare, or is this someone else?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah. And so it would appear that the individuals between the two factions, Athena and Marduk, aren't at very good terms, in spite of the fact that sharing the same lane and, you know, both being angels. There's a game of chess going on in the middle of the street between a pair of angels, grand, powerful angels. The angel of Athena has long, flowing golden locks, a roughly masculine figure, big white wings. And the angel of Marduk on the other side has fiery red skin and dark black hair, but the same white wings. And they're playing a game of chess. And things have begun to get heated between the pair of them. And they seem to be arguing over philosophy. So the deity of Athena says, the angel of Athena says, "But how can you possibly support your god? He is a tyrant. Marduk insists on conquest and murder. He does not listen to the values of the people. All he cares about is power. He just seeks to install someone who will serve him at the top, and if you don't agree with Marduk, then you are crushed under heel." And the angel retorts, "There are times when tyranny is absolutely necessary, when there is an evil age or evil people. If we were to stand for democracy, then there would be the voices of evil men would be just as important as the voices of good women. And this is not how it should be. There must be conquest in the name of holy crusade. And so they continue back and forwards, and it begins to get really, really heated. And it seems like it might genuinely erupt into violence between these two angels as they trade real insults that go straight to the heart of each other's philosophies over whether Holy Crusade is ever justified or whether democracy and wisdom is in the eye of the beholder and prone to manipulation. And yeah, things are getting really heated. Do you walk away, leave these angels to duke it out in the streets of Sigil?
I mean, they're angels, right?
So yeah, Athena's group is arguing that
Freedom, liberty, democratic process. These things are necessary for a good society. This is what makes lawful good. Whereas the angels of Marduk are saying, no, lawful good is based on piety, respect for authority, upholding social morality. No, that's not lawful good! No! And they're really, they got their swords are flaming and, beating the table, and they're really angry about it. No, that's tyranny! No, that's corruption! Walk away.
I mean, Felix is kind of watching curiously, but he's not going to get involved in a philosophical conversation involving two gods that he's never heard of before.
yeah, Vinek will probably walk closer and probably he's probably going to try and get involved because this is an interesting debate. I'm just trying to figure out what he would say.
You there! Did you grow up in a system that had a corrupt government where people were elected and thus the whole thing fell apart? Or did you grow up in a system where one person had total power, the ability to execute at will and justify their actions afterwards?
I've seen both be abused, and it all depends on the individual.
But which is lawful good?
It depends on the person. I've seen both be abused by the person behind it, and I've seen both be so inflexible as to cause problems for the people behind them.
Tyranny is inflexible. Democracy is inherently flexible. When things are going wrong, then the opponent can simply be voted out.
Unless they already control too much.
In which case we have tyranny already. Ha!
Neither system is ideal. But if given the choice between the two, I do believe that I would choose giving the people a choice.
Democracy is inherently chaotic. It is not lawful at all. It is a mishmash of ideas that do not fit with each other, that can be changed at whim.
Yes,
it is the will of the people.
Yes, the worlds are a mishmash of different ideas. And democracy is far more flexible. All of these different planes, Sigil itself is a mash of different places, different worlds, different peoples. And I believe that between the two of them, democracy, we've seen what tyranny does here. It keeps the gods out.
If it were not for the tyranny of the Lady of Pain, this place would be overrun with evil. Anyway, make
Is he,
a
like, honestly okay with that? That it keeps the gods out?
do you ask him?
I mean, just yeah, I'll ask him. You're honestly okay with it? She keeps the gods at bay?
It is her territory. We are but foreign dignitaries here. Foreign dignitaries allowed by tyranny, by the master. And they say back and forward, the argument begins. But make a persuasion roll as you present your case and see if you can't at least diffuse the situation.
I'll burn my inspiration. Fuck it. Of course.
Alright, so the battle continues and it gets heated. And what is with this chess game? Why am I always black? And he flips the chessboard and the pieces just fly everywhere. And they both draw their flaming swords and it's on. Meanwhile, you guys around the corner, have been no part of this. You can see the crowd is splitting. And as the crowd splits, a procession of Davis float through the air, and behind them is the Lady of Pain. She's about a block and a half away. She's coming this direction, and you're busy with your negotiation. This is...
My question is, they look like they're about to, like, straight up attack each other?
Yeah, well, not attacking, but they've drawn their flaming blades, and they're hoping that the other will start something.
Yeah, I was gonna say Videk is stupid, but he's straight up going to stand in between them.
What about the
try
rest?
to stop them?
No worries. What about the rest of the party? What are you doing as this as the crowd splits and the Davis appear and the Lady of Pain?
Well, having been witness to their form of justice, and the Lady of Pain and her Dabu's approaching, I'm going to call out to Videk. Videk, it's not worth it. Let it go. Just come over here, please.
This ain't your fault, mate. You're getting in the wrong thing. You're gonna end up dead, and then what then? What are you gonna do then if you just fucking die, huh? Nothing, that's what.
Alright.
You making a move, Videk, or not?
I'm standing between them and holding up a hand to each of them. If you fight each other, then that's when your enemies win. That's when chaos wins.
Alright, make a fresh persuasion roll.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Aaron, Jesus, please be with me.
They lower their blades, and the Davis, as they round the corner, they have these sigils going crazy, questioning sigils, violent sigils, execution sigils, expulsion sigils, and by the time the Lady of Pain herself has appeared, the blades are lowered and no longer aflame. She casts a glance down this alley, and then she glances away and continues sailing down the main avenue. We will have to settle this in the prime material. Yes, says Athena. Let us go to war. I agree. So they shake hands and declare war and go back to their stalls and continue their trade.
How about a better idea? Instead of fighting each other, a contest. To see who can destroy your enemies better. Then, one way or another, everyone wins.
I am all for this contest, but I disagree. I would have to see what the council decided. I do not have the authority to determine this single. It does not seem wise to defend the fates of so many on the actions of we two. That is exactly how it should be done. Decisively, once and for all. And so it begins all over again.
And at that point, Vadak is just gonna throw up his hand, walk away.
Bedek, I know
Whatever.
you mean well, but I think we should keep out of the affairs of those here. At least for
Yeah.
the time.
You're going to dumb mine. We'll just sign.
Look, I think we've wasted enough time being distracted here. Why don't we find whatever it is you're leading us to? I still don't know where exactly you're taking us.
Cam, roll a d16.
Who?
Yes, you. 1d16. No worries. Okay, cool. Alright, so you've managed to, you're winding your way through this area. What's your gnome's name? Elliot. Elliot, you're winding Elliot Emmanuel Greaves. You're winding your way through these crowds, through a destination that may or may not actually exist. Maybe you're trying to think of how to fast talk these guys. When you spot someone that that you know, excuse me. When you spot someone that you know, it's an ogre mage from Karatur who came all the way over from Karatur to Muran with the Scythalesian Empire. He was one of their generals, this ogre mage, the Onikage, he you don't know what he's doing here. You don't know what he's doing here. But you do recognize them. You're sure that it's them. He's wearing the same robes that he wore. He's wearing the same clothes. He's exactly the same, except for one thing. he's carrying the sacred Wazakashi of the Emperor. A short katana, but for him it's he's an ogre, so it's a pretty big weapon. But yeah, he's exactly the way you remember him from back in the Sith Elysian Empire. The only difference is that he's armed with the Emperor's own sidearm.
Oi! You're Hokage, right?
Hello, I remember you from the battlefields, Graves. You were of the Blood Clan.
Yeah, that's right.
I did not expect to ever see anyone here. Perhaps this is karma that is finally rewarding me at last. Get me home, Graves. Get me home.
What are you doing here, mate? A long way.
I'm trapped within this city. I can't find a way out. Every time I open a door, it leads somewhere else, but never home. I've traveled through plane after plane after plane, and I cannot get back to Karatur, or even to the Sword Coast. You must help me.
Hold on. I would help you, sir. It's my life, and that's what I do for the Empire. Well, I'm curious. Now, hold on. Take your time. You ever been to the Outlands?
Yes, I have. I was lost in the Outlands for more than a month.
How'd you get there, mate?
I made contact with the Dustmen. Have you dealt with them before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the largest factions here in Sigil. Obsessed with the dead and being dead. I don't quite understand their philosophy, I must admit. But Bushido does require a warrior to already be dead before he begins war. So perhaps from that perspective. Anyway, it was the Dustman who helped me to get into the Outland.
Yeah? You got a name?
Yes. Yeah, the Factal. Factal Skull. I was put in contact with I was put in contact through Rule of Threes.
I tell you what, mate. You get me there, you get my friends and I there, and I'll get you back to the sword and back to the Empire.
Really? Tell me how.
Don't you worry about that. Elliot Emmanuel Graves, mate. Oh, the Order of the Lycanthrope have a few tricks up our sleeves. So,
you know how dearly I wish to return to Karatur. If you are deceiving me, I will be filled with wrath.
I wouldn't, sir. Look, I want to go back too. I swear my mother. I want to go back to that place in Faerun. We both do, of course.
Very well. We will have to travel to a different ward. It is some distance. Come with me. You begin traveling through the depths of Sigil. You wind your way through these streets, leaving the trades ward behind, and entering what is it called? It's the slum anyway. I can't think of what it's called, but the Hive, of course. You're entering the Hive. It's disturbing in here. It's filled with starving people, many of them having exotic diseases. It's filled with stolen gear being sold by people who suffered grievous injuries to get their loot. People are wearing rags, and children are picking through rubbish piles. There are rats the size of hounds, and spiders that are hunting the rats. The whole place is the most chaotic slum that any of you have ever seen. Oh, he's a Dusty. You point out you're going through the streets, and you can see that there's groups of people who are among those who are dressed in rags. Some of them have painted black paint underneath their eyes, and have given themselves a kind of skull-like countenance with white makeup and black underlining, lining their lips as if they're skull-like teeth. And this seems to be a fashion among many people. Elliot Emmanuel Graves will be able to point out to you that they are the Dustmen. Dustmen are one of the largest factions in Sigil, and as mentioned before, they're obsessed with death, and they kind of don't see much difference between life and death at all. Well, honorable friend, I have brought you here to the broken clock tower. Here, within the mortuary, is the Dustman headquarters. All corpses end up here. And if you have brought me here on a lie, then that is convenient, for you are about to be a corpse too! And he draws his
Hold on, what?
No! Tell me
No, wait, hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. Look. We're both pretty reasonable here. Wait, we're from the same place. Look, I'm practically the same race. Look at me. Look at you. Same place. Don't you fucking lie.
I wish to get home. Do not tell me that you have deceived me here.
Alright. But you're the one putting the sword on me. Look at them. You're scaring that man. I point to... You're scaring him. Look at him. He's scared. Alright? Put the sword down, then we can talk like men.
What the hell is going on here?
This man promised me that I would be able to get back to character. Oh, the Sword Coast. If I led him to the leader of the Dustmen, I have fulfilled my part in the bargain.
Put your sword down and talk like a goddamn man. What, you can't talk to me? If you don't have a sword in between you and me, is that how it is? That's how it is, isn't it? You a scaredy cat, huh?
I will turn all of you to frost. Make all of your blood go to ice. I must get home. I am sick of the city. I am sick of the cage.
I am too, mate. I want to go home too. Look, I want to go home, but I can't go home into these fucks over here. I point to Vidak and the rest of everybody else. Into their home, or wherever the fuck they're going. Right? Capiche? Savvy?
What about the rest of you? How are you reacting to the situation?
Look.
Felix.
Go ahead.
Felix just looks incredibly confused, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, Vidak is just sort of taking this in stride at this point. He's just kind of going along with it. Like, he's reached the point where, like, you know what? It's Sigil.
Look, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but this gnome said that he might have a way for us to get to where we're going, so I'm sure that he knows a way for you to get home, but everyone just stay calm. Let's sort this out like men.
Do you have any way to get to Faerun Or Karatura?
Well,
Anyone?
answer the man.
Yeah, I got away. I got away.
You had best give it to me very swiftly.
You put that sword away, mate, and I'll tell you everything you want.
He lowers his sword, puts it back in his sheath. He breathes deeply. Breathes deeply again.
I'll tell you what. You Magi coming in? Oh, you don't do it to handle yourself, do you? Yeah, I know. It's hard. For your folk, that's alright. Alright, look. You looking away? Back to Karator. I put my hands behind my back. My little hands. My gnome is really small. He's got pink hair. Unusually pink hair. Right? And this grin across his face as he usually speaks. But he's no more than 3 feet tall. He's tiny. He's fucking minuscule. And he's dressed in these tattered robes, right? And they look like they're barely hanging on to him. He puts his hands behind his back beneath his tattered robes, and he's smiling up to the creature, the giant, right? He's a fucking ogre. Right. Look. You just gonna go back to the inn where we were? You gonna wait for me there while I finish talking to whatever his face is called with the rest of these guys? I'll be right there. I'll take you back to Karator. How does that sound?
Make a deception check.
Thanks, fucker. God damn it. Alright, I'm pretty sure it's actually bad. Come on. Oh!
Oh, well.
On your honor! I will accept your offer. And I will wait. Because I know that you would not deceive me after all that we have been through. After I saved your life.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, that's right.
Very good. I insulted you by drawing my blade. And for this I offer a deep and humble apology.
I'm sure everything's gonna be right as rain when we get back to the Empire, right? Everything's just gonna be just.
You are the greatest friend that I made among Westerners. I will respect gnomes forever because of your actions and honor.
Yeah. You better.
Alright. So you're at the front of the mortuary. As it sounds like, it's a place where people go when they're dead. In fact, coming past you right now is a dead guy. He's been stabbed multiple times, 17, 18 times, and his corpse is being dragged in on a stretcher made of coarse hemp and what's probably bamboo. And he's dragging it in by this one of those guys with the hoods and the skull makeup, the dark eyeliner, and another fellow just like him gives him a copper piece. He gives him the corpse. Corpse goes inside and he goes on his way.
Lovely.
Where is it we're going exactly? We're going into a mortuary, and who are we looking for here?
An individual called Factol Skull. Factols are the leaders of the faction, so it's an important individual.
Well, I sort of prod Elliot in the back. Well, what do we do once we find this fellow.
Oi, watch it. Don't fucking touch me like that. Alright? Look. We get to him. We stroll right up to him. I tell him I knew a guy. He told me to tell him. To tell us how we get to the Outlands. It's just like that. Look, people here, they like you to be straightforward. I don't know how it is where you're from, in the Agrawand, whatever it's called. But here, you gotta be straight.
And were you being straight with that creature out there?
Oh, that's right. Look, I'm always straight. Name's Graves. It's how.
Yes, well, Arathia. I do hope you're straight. With us, at least.
Yeah, of course, mate. Look, we find a Scar. Scar, what his name is?
Alright then.
Yeah, this will go
Continue
so
on.
well.
You're currently in a place called Rag Pickers Square, and it kind of forms one of the commercial centers of the Hive, partially because they have the mortuary here, which is not just the faction headquarters of one of the factions, but also the place where everybody in Sigil ends up one day or another, unless you die out in the plains, lonely and alone. When you walk into this domed building, leaving the shattered clock tower of Rag Pickers Square and the beggars and the were-rats behind you, you're flanked by a pair of giant skeletons. These skeletons must be 12, 13, 14 feet tall, fully armored in a kind of Egyptian Tomb King motif, with great fangs and tusks in their mouth. These giant skeletons have their blades pointed down, and they flank the alleyway. And when you enter the place, it stinks, but it's a really off-putting stink. Not so much the disgusting smells of rot, but rather the chemical stenches of mummification, formaldehyde and embalming fluids, different oils, the chemicals that are used to keep the place clean, dried blood, and zombies, because there are zombies galore in here. At first you thought that they were just more of those dustmen shuffling around with their bad makeup and ratty robes, but you could see that a handful of these, no, not a handful, the majority of the people in here are living dead. Zombies that just shuffle around. They've been stitched up pretty well. Most of them, until you look in their eyes, you can't really see that they're dead. But their mouths have been stitched up. And they go about their business, picking up trays, sweeping floors and scrubbing them, arranging shelves, while the living work. Morticians, and other people whose job it is to attend the dead. A zombie shuffles past.
These people must be necromancers of some sort.
Really?
Isn't bad enough with you around. Now we have to deal with this.
I
look.
never would have guessed.
Suck it up. It'll be alright. Just come on. Come on. Keep moving. Keep going.
Yeah, get on now. Yeah.
So you're walking around through the mortuary, stumbling around. And a zombie sort of gets in your way and drops a tray full of what it was carrying, viscera and surgical tools that are contaminated, and they spill all over the ground. Oh, what is going? What are you doing in here? Asks a man in that alabaster makeup with the dark eyeliner.
Oh, looking for Skull.
Why? What business do you have with the Factal? Are you here? Are you here to assassinate her?
Oi, mate. Imp, a representative of the Empire. Look, I'm just looking to get home. These folks, I think they're looking to get somewhere. So, I heard this guy can help us. Am I right?
Well, they're dead anyway. I suppose there's no harm. I shall send word. It may take some time. He scribbles out a message, puts it into a zombie's pocket, gives it some instructions, and sends it on its way. And could one of you give me a hand with this? Are any of you familiar with taxidermy?
Not really. I mean, I've hunted before. I know a little bit about anatomy. What is it you're taxiderming?
I have this beautiful specimen of a hydra that I am attempting to preserve for perpetuity and resurrection. Indeed, it should prove 50% as effective a guardian in death as it did in life, and infinitely more obedient.
You can do that. You can bring it back to life.
Well, life of a sort. Life is life. Life is not really life, after all.
I have some knowledge on those procedures.
Creature. What? He looks at you the way men look when they fall in love. What are you?
I am something of my own creation. I was once of flesh, and now I am of metal and clockwork, you could say.
Transcendent. Transcendent. I must know. Were you slain in the process? Are you... at what stage of the life cycle are you in?
I'm still living. I've had apprentices assist me in transferring my consciousness into this body, but I did do self-procedures on myself when I was living. You could call it that.
Transhumanity. Forget the taxidermy. I wish to learn more about you. Do you mind if I ask you some questions?
Sure. I guess we have some time as we're waiting for your lead.
Yeah, Videk is just going to be creeped out and stepping away from more.
Having transcended death, I am interested in your perspective on life.
And what exactly?
Well, these creatures that you walk with, are they all living? Were they born in prime-material worlds? Were you? Have you? You are born again in a very real sense. How does it feel to have transcended death with your own hand?
I feel almost as if I'm godlike at this point. These servants I've created were all born in the same realm that I came from.
Friend, this... I see within you a kindred spirit. I see within you one who shares our philosophies. I know you when the Factol speaks to you. I implore that you ask to join the faction, for you are... you have... we could learn so much from you. These creatures that you walk with, they cling to their false life. They think that the beginning is birth and that the end is death. They are so... I hate to use the term, they are so clueless. They cannot see that they are only on the first step of their karmic journey, but you have already gone past that journey. I wonder even what would happen if you were to die. Have you thought about what might occur when the last life force passes from this form that you inhabit?
I don't have those thoughts because I plan on living forever. In fact, you could call it upgrades. I continue to do self-improvement as the years pass, more research, and I grow more powerful.
You have shrugged off the false life. You no longer need to be reborn again and again. You have escaped the cycle. And what about the rest of you? How are you reacting to this? Those of you who remain in the building, that is.
Felix looked like he was about to incinerate the place, so he left and went outside.
Yeah, I'm really not having any of this sort of stuff. I'm going to wait out with Felix.
Yeah, Videk is kind of creeped out and standing a ways back, but will be still there because he wants to be there when we learn about where we're going, but this is creepy.
The mortuary is cold by nature. It's protected from a lot of the heat that is generated from the forges and just the bodies. People clustered into Sigil. It's chilled, but the area suddenly seems to become noticeably more cold as an extremely dark figure, darker than the darkness itself, seems to manifest and float its way down a set of unseen stairs. And then its eyes come into view, two burning pinpricks of black light. And the Factol travels without entourage, not so much as a zombie or a skeleton seeks to protect it as what is apparently an important political figure within this city graces you with its presence. And this undead... yeah, that's it. This undead creature, this entity, disembodied and only half corporeal, speaks to each of you, and you feel it in your chest. Why have I been summoned?
Thank you for taking the time to come out and see us. Me and my companions seek entrance to the Outlands, and we were told that perhaps you could lead us the way there.
You are on a journey, and you need to get to your destination, but you do not know the door or the key to open it.
No, we are strangers here.
I can help you, though I have tasks of my own that require doing. Are you willing to place an individual in the dead book in return for the information you seek?
What is the dead book?
Oh. Are you willing to assassinate an individual in order to get passage to where you need to?
There's no one around me.
Who was with
Vidic and the gnome, I think.
Yeah.
I have no qualms doing such
I'm gonna
things.
I'm gonna assume Asteria was not going to stay inside the dead pool.
Good call.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he said. Guess that's one.
Very good. The task is not simple, and thus any who have attempted previously have been unsuccessful. But perhaps you can succeed where others have failed. Death will come to this individual inevitably, one way or the other. I care not when it happens, but if you wish for passage, perhaps the time. You must travel to the plane of air, to the caliphate of Zindilzaran, and while there, meet with the Khalifa. Her husband was overthrown by Anduza, and she has tasked the Dustmen with placing Anduza in the dead book.
This is something that perhaps we could do. I can ask the other companions. They didn't have the stomach to stand in here. I admire this place a lot, actually.
Thank you. What do you find admirable about it?
Death and decay everywhere. I am most comfortable in these situation, if we call it that. Experiments that you seem to be conducting on the dead. A lot of see it as heresy, but to me, why be confined when you can find out so much more? And while others use blades and their fists, arrows, or other weapons, why not use the dead as a tool?
Indeed.
Be
They are a resource of which there is no end. I find that others, those who think themselves as living, weigh too much on passions, when ironically it is passions that carry weight. And as long as one clings to this emotion, they will be reborn into this life, forever suffering, never knowing the purity of true death. But I can sense true death is within you. I feel that you are in control of your passion. You have deprived yourself the need for sensation, for emotions like love, friendship. How do you feel? Do you feel at peace?
Peace. I would say I'm always in battle with myself, always trying to get stronger, looking for new ways to improve myself and my magics. And every year, even even though if I find some answers, there are more questions still.
The Dustmen could benefit from your dispassionate, scholastic view. Would you be interested in joining our faction and helping all within the multiverse to achieve true death?
Perhaps after me and my companions finish our quest in the Outlands, maybe I will return. You seem to have answers that could answer my questions. Elliot.
On the contrary, I only have the satisfaction of oblivion.
Destruction, you mean?
Annihilation of the soul. The complete and true death of the multiverse. Indeed, we are coming towards it inevitably. It is just a matter of time. Indeed, it is really just a matter of perspective, for time itself is not real.
I plan on beating time.
You already have, as have I, which is why we are dead, and yet we speak.
Elliot, get the others, and so we can all discuss if we wish to take upon the Dustmen's quest.
Alright. I'll go out there. We're trying to find everybody else.
Sorry, before we go, I'm sort of being harassed by my family to get going. Sorry, I can't stay till the end of the session.
No worries at all.
But I'll go with whatever the group wants to do, and yeah, I'll see some of you tomorrow, I guess.
Cool. See you soon.
Sorry for that. See you guys.
So the gist of the job is that there was a coup in the elemental plane of air. The genies had a coup, and the general of the genies has imprisoned the Caliph, the leader of the genies, and so his wife, who is now, I guess, she's still the queen, but is no longer in power. She has somehow contacted the Dustmen and got them to, she wants them to kill him. She wants the Dustmen to assassinate the man who overthrew her husband and regime.
Where have I heard that before, that Zendel's around? I know I've heard you say that before.
It's from Samatha, but
Oh, that's where it was. Okay. Now I don't feel as bad. I was like, God, that sounds so fucking familiar. Too many campaigns over too long. I don't know when you planned on ending the campaign or the session, but
Shall we
I
end it
don't
now?
know. I was gonna say we only really have the four of us here to
Like,
make a decision.
it's pretty much half the party or less.
Hey, look! This is what I say. Look, we do this one thing, right? Now, hold on. Wait. I know how you're looking at me. Fuck off, first of all. Second of all, it's a good idea. Look, you get what you want, I get what I want. We go on our own little way, and that's it. Alright? Sound?
I'm not a big fan of traveling to the plane of air.
What is that?
I don't know if you're familiar with the elemental planes much.
Yeah, well, I know a few things. What? You fucking scared or something?
Well, I don't know if you're particularly able to fly, but I'm not really capable of doing so.
Yeah, well, I got my voice. I'm not too caged like you. Look, all I'm saying is, look, we go there, we'll figure it out, right? And then we get out, and you're free. I'm free, you're free. It's golden, it's peachy, as they say. Look, I can see you. I'll see you now. Look, that guy right there, from Agaron, or whatever the hell it is called. He knows what he's doing. And I reckon the rest of you know what you're doing too. So I think we can get this done right proper. And then we're on our way.
What are your thoughts, Felix?
More of your shit lit up and then did not. And nothing.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Maybe we should leave it here for the week.
Is there, so in the elemental planes of air, is there like no land? Like you have to be flying?
Make a history check. Yeah.
Sorry, my mic died and I had to go and grab a new one.
No worries at all.
I'm against working for these people in general. That said, if it's our only way forwards...
It looks like we agreed. That's it then.
The elemental plane of air is mostly air.
No way, really?
No way, really. So, but not entirely. So it's not really like any place on Earth. Whereas you can say the elemental plane of water is like the ocean. That's a great analogy. The elemental plane of air is only a little bit like the air above the Earth, because it's not empty. They're little planetoids, if you want to think of it as like that, or little flying mountains, or little structures can be found scattered throughout the elemental plane of air, but they are scattered, and you might fall 7 miles, or if you fall off one, it might be 7 miles before you hit the next. There are also much less common, and the asteroids are by no means common to begin with, but much less common are structures that have been built, like Sky Station, giant floating ships that have been mashed together, semi-stable and magically held in place, or even held in place on air currents, not so much with magic, but with a kind of elemental science. Things are very different there. If you think Sigil is weird, then the elemental plane of air is like nothing you've ever seen before. At least this place has streets, at least this place has gravity. The elemental plane of air might have gravity, but it doesn't take you anywhere. It just takes you down. down. If you don't have flight, you're going to be severely hindered, but not necessarily crippled. You'll just have to find alternative ways of getting around. Won't be easy.
Yeah, that's the concern I'm thinking of. Is I have a means of flight. I don't know about everyone else. Oren should have some way, or at least it should be expensive for him to learn how to cast fly. But everyone else, I don't know.
Factal Skull, do you have any items, magical items that could assist us in getting around?
I can tell you the key and tell you the gate. There is a fountain in the clerk's board dedicated to the elemental deity of air, Istara. If you take 7 silver coins from any realm and toss them in and then step backwards into the fountain, it will take you to a small river on an earth moat floating in the elemental plane. It is within the realm, the caliphate of Zindilza. But from there, you will be on your own. You may purchase, perhaps, a flying carpet from the market or some other method of travel. But I cannot help you.
How much would a flying carpet be?
Permanent flying, 32,000 sounds right.
Flying broom, which would be one person?
Yeah, 8,000.
8,000? Okay. It's a little more manageable, but still not quite there.
I mean, a carpet can take how many people? You're better off having like 6 people pitch in, because I think it can carry 5 or 6.
Let's say 10, for a nice round number.
Carpet cannot carry 5 or 6.
Can't
How
they?
many is it?
Carpet can carry, let's see.
I'm thinking the only example I can think of is Critical Role, and I think they normally had like 5 or 6 on it at a time.
Biggest carpet is 6x9.
Oh.
And can carry 800 pounds.
Well, 800 pounds is a fair bit. That's 4 people.
But
Sort of
it's the space wise that you don't have a whole lot of space on.
Yeah, you could stand up, but then your GM's going to make you fall off. Stuff.
Yeah, you're going to be pretty cozy, and that's only a flying speed of 30 feet.
Mm-hmm. Does a broom have a limit? Does it say how much brooms can carry?
Yeah, a broom of flying can carry up to 400 pounds.
Right. Then the carpet would be only 16,000 rather than 32.
Yeah, and the broom, if you're carrying over 200 pounds, your flying speed is reduced significantly. Yeah,
you have the advantage of it being, an individual swarms of brooms would be more tactically advantageous than a single party on a carpet. So.
Yeah, if you're under 200 pounds, the broom has a flying speed of 50 feet. If you're over 200, it only has.
Okay. Cool. So 8,000 for a broom of flying, 16,000 for a carpet of flying, or 500 for a potion of flying.
And the fly spell is in one of the spell books, so Oren can learn it.
Alright, so you've already got it.
I already have fly.
Cool.
I guess my other question is then, how much would a flying mount would be to rent or to buy?
Oh wow, I've got rules for this. It's based on the challenge rating. I'll see if I can find the rules. It will take me about 5 minutes or so.
If we can find a wild griffin, I can awaken it and charm it automatically with the spell for you.
Sure.
Problem is, I'm not sure where we'd find a wild griffin in Sigil.
Well, they sell them, and if they don't sell them, if you wait 3 days, I'll go and catch one and bring one to you.
'Cause I'm
There's a yeah.
I'm wondering if
bounties.
that's cheaper than carpets and brooms.
Sorry, how much?
It'll take me about 5 minutes to get the pay.
Was you just saying, Billy, that you think it might be cheaper than a carpet or broom?
I have no clue. I'm just talking out of my ass. Because either that or because like with fly, like how many people can I make fly at a time?
At 3rd level, it's just you, and then for every level after that, I think it's 1 extra person. So 4th level's 2 people, 5th level's 3, etc. Using it on multiple people's not a very efficient way of using spell slots, though. I mean, I could just summon a heap of giant eagles.
Yeah, and Arethyr can summon animals too, so... And then, you can't...
But that's not a very efficient way of fighting, because if I get hit and lose concentration, or I get Dispel Magic cast on me, all of you are just gonna go whoop, bye-bye.
So, Matt, how about a set of winged boots?
Wing boots do the same as broom of flying, don't they?
No. Winged boots, you can use the boots to fly for up to 4 hours all at once or in several shorter flights, each one using a minimum of 1 minute during the duration. If you are flying when the duration expires, you descend at a rate of 30 feet per round until you land. The boots regain 2 hours of flying capability for every 12 hours they aren't in.
So is the difference that one is 4 hours long but I guess how long does a broom of flying last for?
Broom of Flying is permanent. The main
Permanent.
difference with boots is that they have a time limit on them, but they're boots. It's not like you have to jump on an awkward broom or something.
Yeah.
The boots,
But
the boots are
require-
also the boots are also equal to your walking speed.
and require attunement. You don't fly at 60, you fly at 30.
Yep.
Oh right, okay then. 4,000.
Okay.
But 4,000 for... I'll buy boots of flying... I don't know. Alfonso will get cranky at me if I do.
There's the prices. There are other things available, but that is a comparative sort of cost of what things are available here in Sigil.
How much do I start with, Arctic? What are you giving me?
2,000.
God damn it.
10,000. Make it have 10,000. Yeah.
There we go. I still don't know what I'm going to buy. I'll buy it. I'll have
You can buy a
figure it.
manticore.
That's what I need.
Buy it off of Arazu.
I don't know. I don't need weapons as this character, so it's kind of nice. I like.
Or did he have a chimera? I can't remember. No, he had a manticore, right?
The more I think about it, the more useful. Arctic said I couldn't play fucking but Marinus had just gotten his fucking summon greater mount or whatever the fuck it was.
Well, actually, what I want to do with that, I might as well bring it up now. We should make a second campaign and like run a glory on a campaign, but don't have to do it immediately, just at some stage. And but anyway, that's an idea. Actually, have a glory on a campaign as well. That'd be a great idea.
I'll bring back Droffley.
It's an awesome idea, right?
I think that'll be a little, yeah. It's like a Lord of the Rings campaign. I like it, dude.
Like, Droffley would be the perfect character that I had to bring in there, because like the fucking Forge Cleric would be the perfect one to like help rebuild a fucking area.
Yeah, and you love the area. You're local.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking Tethiamore dwarf.
Yeah, just like Pro Tour actually. Pro Tour's also a Tethiamore.
I don't know if the boys would be down for it, but I totally would be. I'd find time.
I'd be down for it since Perrin got sent off with Marinus anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Like, but I think that we should start at level 1 though, with like Marinus's and like the other characters as kind of overlords. But we don't have to. We could do a high level one. There's like anyway, great to have the idea out.
Marinus has to. Marinus is a like lower level again and has to like earn his paladin shit.
Oh
Actually,
my god,
that's a really cool idea now I think about it, because I mean, I think is Perrin the only one of the NPCs, the PCs that actually went with him. So I mean, I'd be fine to just roll up a new level 1 character, because Marinus doesn't have his paladin powers anymore. It'd make sense for him to be starting over again. I mean, all you'd have to do is literally be named Marinus. You can make whatever you want, assuming it's still the human name Marinus.
I wouldn't do that. No, like he's been through a lot of martial shit too. It's not like he's incompetent with a sword.
Oh yeah, no, but
I could do it. Yeah, if we wanted to thematically do that, I would be down. I would play it, but
how would that play out? Would that be similar to? From what I've heard about the Keep on the Borderlands game, how it's more management of a territory type.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
sure,
you don't,
yeah.
if you don't want to do level 1, then do it like level 3. So it's still relatively low level.
Yeah, start at level 3 or 5.
But yeah, level 3 or 5. That's right, to represent that. Like if we like assuming that we follow the Marinus story, that he's as you say, Cam, that he's still got some martial power. He's not incompetent. But the vision I had, like, which we can definitely do it any other way. This is just the idea that I had. Was rather that the Stonelands Gloriana is a big place and it needs adventurers. Since Marinus is this lord, and he does have things to do. There are quests that he can go on, but for the most part, he's got he's management now. He's in charge. It's kind of a how do you say it? It's a generational change, as your characters, some of them recognize that they really are, getting too old for this shit now. Like Asteria is probably the best example of that. But there comes a point at which even characters like Storm Silverhand and Elminster settle the fuck down for a while. And that doesn't have to be the end. Elminster gets up and has adventures 100 years after that, but he does take time off, and we could have a entirely new campaign with Marinus as like this lord that has problems with orcs in the west and Sembians in the east and lycanthropes in the north, and not to mention that he's trying to build his own city and is being infiltrated by agents from the Nether or Shadavar, and so that's the sort of idea that I had.
I want to see Arctic play Marinus. I'm excited about that.
I know who I'm going to play.